So make yourself comfortable, feel at home.
Great to be here on this
Wonderful to have
beautiful
you.
stage, this amazing conference.
Right, the room is packed, that's how it should be. Well, it's an absolute honor to have you joining us here today, giving us your time for a good 25 minutes to share exclusive insights. I'm excited. Let's start maybe with, I've said it just now, you've spent nearly 20 years at Expedia Group. You held leadership roles across 3 continents. And has there been one pivotal moment in your career where you'd say that really shaped your leadership style or outlook on the travel industry?
Well, 20 years at Expedia and more than 25 years in travel. So many moments, mostly good, not all good. And pivotal, I'd say it's sometimes difficult to know what is pivotal until many years later. And I've had a few of those. Back earlier in my Expedia career, I was working in Seattle. We did a joint venture with AirAsia. And these are 2, Barry Dillers, our chairman, and Tony Fernandez from AirAsia came together, a really visionary move. I knew nothing about it. It was announced. They asked me to be on the board. We started growing in Asia. I moved to Singapore in 2015. We invested in Traveloka the next year. Just started a series of, for me, personal, professional, and for Expedia Group, business growth around the world. And so that was a pivotal moment I didn't realize at the time would be so important for me in my life.
Right, yeah, that's exciting. I mean, we all heard of these brands, right? It's always fantastic to go back in the history of our industry.
It's a fascinating history.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure there's not one single person that can paint it all down because it's so complex, right? Or at least I would be very impressed if there would be one person being able to do that.
You just walk around these buildings and see the complexity, the diversity of this industry. It's incredible. Right.
Yeah, and I mean, the more important are partnerships, right? So Expedia Group emphasizes partnerships as a cornerstone of its marketplace. And in your view, from where you sit, what makes a great partnership, and how do you foster trust and alignment with your partners at Expedia?
Well, so we have a lot of partnerships, and I'd say they're mostly great. And just to have a good partnership, you really need to try to remove friction from the process, from the travel experience. So ensuring that we have aligned policies and procedures and that generally it's good for our travelers. A great partnership requires a lot more investment, and that is how we create value for ourselves, of course, but for our partner, for travelers, and that takes a lot of work. And we have a team of, well, there's 15,000 of us at Expedia Group, but a few thousand that work closely with our partners around the world and to make sure that we are delivering value.
Right, all right. And is there maybe a recent example of a partnership that you recall where you say this is really exceeding your expectations, or that's something where you say there was an unexpected innovation?
Well, I mean, there's probably recency bias. We just announced a couple of big partnerships here with Emirates, with Moroccan Tourism Board. We a couple weeks ago, last week maybe, announced we are the first and only OTA to be selling Southwest Airlines in the United States. And I think that's a testament to the work that we do, that we invest to ensure that our partner is seeing the value of working with Expedia Group. And there are many over the years. If you go back 10 years, Expedia Group was fighting pretty ugly public battles with hotels. And I'm sure there's some of you here who remember that. And especially like Marriott and Hilton and some of the big chains. And we really worked hard to understand each other on both sides. And Marriott, just as an example, we announced in 2018, 2019, coming out of that period, a whole new partnership and a whole new take on the partnership. We launched what we call optimized distribution, and that was distributing wholesale rates around the world, and it was solving a problem for them, and it created a new business for us, and that's been a large part of our B2B growth, working with Marriott.
Yeah, that's a beautiful example. And with over 3 million properties and partners spanning from airlines, activities, rentals, I mean, it's a vast ecosystem, right? We spoke about the complexity. How do you make sure that this is working seamlessly in the traveler experience? I mean, there's so much in the background to orchestrate.
It is a complex industry, as you said, and it does require a lot of coordination between all of us. And we do that, obviously, technology is a big part of it, and ensuring that we have the right connectivity partners, that we're providing tools to our partners, the hotels and airlines and such, that we are providing a great travel experience through customer service and the tools that we have for our travelers. And just like I said, ensuring that those are aligned with our partners.
Right, okay. I mean, it seems to work, right? So it's...
well, we're still growing.
Yeah, I mean, I find it very fascinating how to make this all, like all these parts to one functioning experience then, right, at the user front end.
And all of us are travelers too, so
right.
we know, we've experienced when things don't go quite right, and I think all of us are committed to ensuring that we have smooth travel for our customers.
Yeah, and some of us understand better when it doesn't work out, because we know about the complexity.
Yes, we're very forgiving.
Yes, we are, that's true. Right, and then, I mean, the numbers are like breathtaking, right? The amount of partners and also, just properties you're working with. But you're also not only working with enterprises, right? It's also a lot of small and mid-sized enterprises, so from small to large partners. In small boutique properties and local operators. I mean, there's a lot of diversity in that portfolio, right? How do you tailor your approach to meet the needs of such diverse set of partners?
Well, as I said, we do have a lot of people, and sometimes you need a bespoke partnership that requires a lot of close collaboration in person. We do have a lot of technology tools that help with that as well, that allow us to scale. And increasingly with AI and some of the more advanced technology, we are starting to leverage that more, so that all of our partners, and I'm sure you just, again, walk around and see some of the technology companies here that are providing really amazing solutions to help facilitate communication and that partnership.
Yeah, okay, right. And I mean, there's a lot of discussion, obviously here in particular, about what's next in travel. We talk about trends, disruptions, shifting traveler expectations, and but not all trends are equally important, right? And some feel like sure bets, others we're not really sure if it's a hype, right? If it's a media fan frenzy. So from where you sit with your global perspective and your experience, what would you say are the biggest certainties, and what are the uncertainties that we can really watch out for?
There are not enough certainties right now in this world. One thing I would say is certain, and that is deep within all of us, I believe, in humanity, there is a desire to travel. And we are people who need to meet with people, need to explore new places. And so that has always been, always will be. When Barry Diller bought Expedia in 2001, he actually had the deal ready to go when September 11, 2001 happened, and could have walked away from that. And at the time said, they had a big meeting and deciding whether to go forward with the transaction. And Barry famously now said, where there's life, there's travel. And that's the encouragement that I take. Now, all of us, we're in the business of travel, so we spend a lot of time trying to figure out how much, who, when, where, and we invest a lot of energy in that. And that's important, but deep down, travel is an industry that will continue and will continue to grow.
Right, well, we love to hear that, right? that's what we all agree on.
Quarter by quarter, sometimes a little more challenging.
Right, but I mean, if this is the theme, the overall theme, I mean, that we can agree on, right, it's a very passion-led industry as well, I'd say. So yeah, I personally love that very much. And I mean, you're here in Berlin with us, in Europe, right? So we're thrilled to have you here. And also, Expedia Group has identified Europe as one of the critical regions for growth, right? So what makes the European market unique for you, and how do you plan to strengthen your footprint here with Expedia?
Well, first things, I'm about to become a European, in that I'm moving to London in a couple weeks. So Europe is a really important region for travel. It is for us, certainly, at Expedia Group. Both the supply, this is a place where people like to come and has important it's an important destination, but it's also an important source market for us. And we have strong brands, especially in the UK with Expedia. We have Hotels.com is strong throughout the region, especially in the Scandinavia. We have growth ambition that goes well beyond that with our increasing supply. We are adding Ryanair flights later this month. We just announced an NDC connection with Aer Lingus. There's much more that we're doing on the supply side as well. So Europe will continue to be an important market in travel for Expedia, certainly. Now, we do have a few competitors here, one big one, and we welcome that challenge. We will definitely continue to grow in Europe.
Right, okay, thank you. And then you're also, with Expedia, obviously one of the leaders in travel tech innovation, right? So with AI, the absolute buzzword of this convention, everywhere in any session, how is AI is reshaping all these industry sectors, and how are you ensuring with this big enterprise of Expedia that you stay ahead in delivering real value to both the travelers and your partners, given these shifts at the moment with AI and other trends?
Well, it took you almost 15 minutes to get to AI, so that's probably
That's good,
a record,
right? I want you
actually.
to acknowledge that, please. Yes.
I would normally answer this talking first about the traveler, and I'll get to that. But last night I was at dinner with a group of people, and there was an entrepreneur, technology entrepreneur, who was telling me about how they're using technology, AI specifically, to improve their productivity of the development for their engineers. And of course, we're doing that. I'm sure everyone's trying to do that. But the scale and the speed of adoption for his company was striking. And I went back to my room and sent notes out to our new CTO and said, we have work to do. The technology is changing really, really fast, and I do think that productivity will be a big part of that. I had some meetings yesterday, and one of the salespeople on my team said that she prepared the brief using Gen AI, using ChatGPT, to match me with the person I was meeting with and what were our common interests, and it's fascinating. And so we have to use it. All of us have to use it to improve our productivity. But in travel, I think there are some really amazing opportunities with our travelers. I mean, from Berlin, you have billions of options, literally like billions of options for a vacation. And 60% of the people, when they start planning for travel, don't know their destination. So even just selecting a destination, figuring out your trip, Gen AI will certainly play a big role in that. With our partners, we have been using AI, machine learning for a long time, Gen AI and creative AI more recently, to improve the listings and content, to match hotels with the demand, to improve pictures. We take static pictures and make them looks like the water's moving in the pool and things like that make it more engaging on the site. So AI it's here to stay. So mark that down.
I think we caught that by now, I'd say, after yesterday. But I mean, it's exciting. The outlook is just there's so much opportunity, right, for all of us if we embrace it and do it wisely.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I also learned it's a marathon, right? So you cannot expect to accelerate.
It's a very fast marathon, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I take note of that then. Well, then we have another topic in the industry that's always discussed for many years, right? And I think everyone is trying to excel at that. As the travelers expect total flexibility, they want convenience, they want personalized recommendations, and it's just really more sophisticated every day, it feels, right?
For sure.
So how do you ensure that your loyalty offerings, like the entire realm of loyalty, that remains competitive and compelling?
Well, first, most fundamentally, I would say loyalty is created when you provide unique value.
Right.
And there are many ways that you can provide unique value to travelers, and we do that through our site experience, through customer service, through the products we sell, and through a loyalty program, a more formal program, and we have one of those. And that's important. The other part of loyalty in travel, though, is that people want to use their loyalty currency, their points or miles or whatever, for trip elements. And our data suggests 85% of people plan to use some sort of loyalty currency in their next trip. So that's a pretty massive segment of our industry. And so really trying to think, how does our own loyalty play into that? How do partners and the banks and financial services that are big into loyalty, how does that all work together, I think is an important part of our business.
Right, and it would already be a challenge to, streamline all within your enterprise, right, from all these areas, from flights and hotels, but now then opening up to the wider ecosystem.
Right, and which is why Expedia has really shifted from, we have a few important brands at Hotels.com and Expedia and Vrbo and some local brands, but we really see ourselves as a marketplace, an ecosystem where we have a bunch of supply coming in, and anyone who wants to sell through Expedia Group should be able to do that. And then we have a lot of demand coming in through different channels, our brands as well as our partners like banks and airlines and others.
Right, okay, got it. And travel advertising, right? You also had the media part of the business, and it's becoming increasingly valuable, the Expedia media business. So how do you balance the monetization, which is important, obviously, in advertising, with maintaining the special factor, like the exceptional experience for the travelers?
Right. Well, I see our advertising team over here, and there's a lot of pressure on them because it is a big business for us and fast-growing, really important. But it is a big, fast-growing business because we provide relevant advertising. It adds value to our travelers. And for our advertisers, it's an incredible return on their investment on advertising spend. We continue to invest in the product itself so that it's a good part of the experience. We're very careful about what kind of ads and advertisers we work with. And most importantly, it's advertising, I think generally, and certainly for us, it's about providing the right information at the right time to the right person. And we have the data to do that. Uniquely, I would say, in the industry, we see the full funnel of travel, and that's really valuable for targeting advertising.
Right, yeah, we had a discussion yesterday also with a member of the team about how you can really distribute travel better as well, right? Because the inspiration phase is so important. You said it earlier, most people don't know the destination.
Right.
So this is, I think, a great opportunity to use advertising in a very beneficial way for the end consumer.
Again, you walk around this event and you see the many destinations. And how do they stand out in a region where they're maybe not as well known? And so we work with a lot of the destinations to ensure that their destination is positioned well with our travelers.
Right, okay. So I want to shift a bit to the trends. I mean, we're always here, right, to also collect a little bit of briefings on what are the key trends. So as we look into this year and the years after that, what are you seeing as having the biggest impact on travel behavior in our industry? What are your key trends that you work on?
Beyond humans want to travel? Okay. Well, there is uncertainty, and we see during times of uncertainty, people are looking increasingly for value. And there's some really interesting opportunities right now. The currency exchange, the currency differences has created a bit of an arbitrage for travel. So we're seeing a lot of, sorry, Europeans, but there are going to be a lot of Americans here over the summer and during peak travel for Americans. Everyone's going to Japan right now because of the currency. There's great deals there. So we'll see some of that. We're also seeing things like all-inclusive. All-inclusive searches on Hotels.com are up 60% right now. People are looking for, how do I save money? How do I get the most for my vacation dollars? We also see some really interesting, just general social trends. The power of media. Now, more than 2/3 of our travelers surveyed say they picked a destination based on something that they've seen on TV or movies.
Yeah, Netflix, right? Wasn't there this spike in Thailand now?
Right, everyone wants to go to Koh Samui because of White Lotus.
Right.
We termed, I think we came up with it, did we? I don't know, we'll claim it. We call it set jetting, which I think is pretty clever. Yeah. That builds on the previous trend, which is still happening, which is tourism, which is the music. People are traveling for that as well. And these are real trends that drive real. And you see airlines are, with Taylor Swift's concert, they were adding capacity in to ensure that they took full advantage. So those are big. the other one that's interesting is the detour destinations, where I might come to this conference in Berlin, but I'm going to take the train out to Strasbourg and hike in the nature. So this is, or I want to go to Koh Samui, or I go to Bangkok, but I saw on White Lotus Koh Samui, so I'm going to go there.
Yeah, that's fascinating. A lot happening there. And let's go back to leadership. So you've been recognized as a leader, really shaping our industry on global levels and within Expedia. So what's the leadership principles you'd say that you are led by, or that you really focus on?
Well, thank you. And I have learned, and I've gotten more comfortable over the years, trying to be an authentic leader doesn't mean that I have to fit a certain stereotype. I want to be authentic, and I'm not traditional, stereotypical salesperson, and so it's hard for me to like jump off out of my chair and cheer on the team. I'm actually more enthusiastic about scorecards, truthfully, and KPIs. I was an engineer, analyst, so I use that in my leadership. And I think, for me, the biggest thing that I can do to be an effective leader, the biggest contribution I make to Expedia, is to be decisive, to make decisions. I had a mentor a long time ago when I was just starting. He was late in his career, and he spent some time with me, and he said, you know, the only difference between you and me is access to information and the guts to make a decision.
Wow, yeah.
And that stuck with me for many years. And so I do try to make sure that I'm comfortable making a decision, using data, using the facts.
Right, yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. I take a look at the time. I could go on for hours, but unfortunately we only have the time that they gave us in the program. So share something on your travel. If there's one travel experience, personal or professional, that continues to inspire you in your work, is there something you can share as one anecdote or something you think of?
I think many people in this room are very well traveled, and every time I meet with somebody, they tell me a place that they, or an experience that they've had that makes me want to do that. We were talking about trekking with gorillas. I've never done that and really want to do that. But ultimately, like I said, travel is about connecting with people and places. And for me, the special places, the special experiences are those with the people who are special to me. I have 2 now grown children. They're not children. What do you call them when they're adults?
Young adults.
young adults. And one is 21, one's 23, and they're out of the house, and any chance that we have for the 4 of us to be together now is incredibly special. And so we recently did a trip from, my daughter turned 21, which in the US you're able to drink and legally. She had her first drink when she turned 21. Right?
Is that so?
So she wanted to be with our family, so we took a trip and had her 21st birthday together. It was special. Now she's off in Sydney doing study abroad, and I'm sure she's making good use of that drinking experience. But no, that's travel, and travel hits us all in different ways. Even this kind of business travel, I think it's a special industry we work in.
Absolutely, no, I couldn't agree more. And Greg, thank you so much. This has been an incredible conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much for being here. Give a warm applause.